Testing, 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 testing. What is up, awesome people, and welcome back to another Wi-Fi Wednesday shenanigans! And some shenanigans we indeed had tonight. For tonight's team is going to be the Sandroom team, which I featured on a live stream quite some time ago. And for those of you who did tune in to know exactly what type of shenanigans I have in store for you guys. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. So the Sandroom team will be featured on Wi-Fi Wednesday probably next week as well, and maybe 1 week after, depending on how many videos I can actually salvage from what I got from the stream. So anyways, leading off, we have the opponent for Claydol and Clefable for Battle 1, and I'm going to lead with my Gigalith and Hypno. This tends to be the more of the common lead for the Sandroom team. There is another lead that I have. Hopefully I do show it off in some of the future videos, because tonight I didn't actually show it off, so I think I might have just started to slowly work into the other lead. But regardless, we're going to start off with the Claydol going for the Earth Power on Gigalith. And wow, that did actually do a lot of damage, considering I've got special defensive investment into Gigalith, plus the sand on the field as well. Usually makes Gigalith really special defensive. Anyways, Moonblast also hits the Hypno there, which tanks it really well. Heavy Slam is going to bring the Clefable down very close to the red there. Unfortunately, not enough to bring it down to the red. But hey, I get the Trick Room up, which is always awesome. So unfortunately, the only downside to this is Hypno is going to get buffed by the Sandstorm quite a fair amount, because I'm not running something like Safety Goggles on Hypno to try and negate that, since I do want mental health there to prevent all the taunts and all that. Anyways, I'm going to send in their Drapion, which is kind of a problem because that can run things like Toxic Spikes and all the other shenanigans, or Night Slash, which will counter my Hypno. Going to set up the Safeguard there with my Hypno. This is going to be a Safeguard Swagger strategy going on the Hypno, Psychic being its only attacking move on top of the Trick Room as well. So it's a supporty type Hypno. Works extremely well even without any special attack investment coming from Psychic, and it can tank really, really well, surprisingly. Anyways, I'm definitely fearing the Drapion because, as I said, I'm not too sure what that's going to do. It could really cause me some huge pain in the future if I leave that sticking around. So I'm going to set up my Z-Power here, which is coming off the Stone Edge, which is going to be hitting for some amazing base power. I do believe that's hitting at something like 200 base power at this point now. So I'm going to send that straight to Drapion's way because I didn't want to risk going for the Stone Edge and missing. As I said, I really don't want this being like the death of me, so bye-bye Drapion, it was nice knowing you. If you ever come across threats like that, you just throw a rock on them. And I missed with the Swagger, of course. I cannot say how many times I have had important misses like that with Swagger, whether it be going for the opponent's Pokemon or just going for my own ally Pokemon. I tend to miss more than I actually hit, so that's a bit of an unfortunate. So Gigalith goes down to the Earth Power, which I'm assuming is a Choice Specs Claydol, because as I said, that's hitting massively for how much damage and how much investment I have into Claydol. So back comes the Clefable, and they're probably thinking, oh, Garchomp, I can outspeed this with Clefable, but no. Trick Room is indeed still up, and I outspeed everyone with a Garchomp. You heard it right. Iron Ball, Trick Room, Garchomp for the win. And there's some more shenanigans after this. So I go for Psychic, which doesn't do much, and turns out the Claydol is not Specs. Did go for the Ice Beam, but it misses due to scummy Sandveil on Garchomp. So this is Sandveil, Trick Room, Garchomp, and believe me, it is quite beastly. Plus, all the other shenanigans that comes with it. It does make a nice Sword Dancer as well, but unfortunately I couldn't, well, the Sword Dance set didn't quite work on this particular set for me. Anyways, I go for the Iron Head, which deals decent damage there to the Claybell, but unfortunately no boost from Life Orb or Sword Dance doesn't really show any like spectacular damage, I guess. But as I said, with Psychic coming from Hypno without any special attack investment, it still does decent damage there to the Poliwag. Poliwhirl. Poliwhirl goes for a Circle Throw, sends out my Hypno, drags in my Sand Slash. Is kind of an issue because I'm like, oh bugger, I'm like 4 times weak to Poliwrath, which is not cool. So I go for the Protect on my Garchomp, thinking that the Poliwrath or the Claydol was going to go for Ice Beam. Claydol does go for the Ice Beam once again, does miss thanks to the Protect. And the Poliwrath actually goes for the Waterfall, trying to go for the Flinch here. I was like, that's interesting. I thought they might go for a Fighting type move. Not the case, luckily for me. So I'm going for the Icicle Crash here on my Sand Slash. I do connect, luckily, and that's going to be taking out the Claydol. Awesome, because that was a huge threat to most of my team, unfortunately. I couldn't believe it. One Pokemon was like a huge counter to me, just entirely. Alright, so that last Pokemon is going to be the Poliwrath. They're going to stick around, and there's not really too much I can do here, so I'm going to swap out my Sand Slash here, swapping into the Hypno, hoping I'll Oko the Hypno here with the Waterfall. Goes for the Waterfall, and unfortunately the Hypno lives with 8 health. Thank you, my defensive investment, for allowing me to live that, but unfortunately I did actually want Hypno to die, so I could go Earthquake, hit it with the full force. But unfortunately I did get the 25% drop there because it was a multi-target. move. So Poliwrath sticks around, gets the Piggy very often. Up it goes again, back into the green. So my last two Pokemon are, of course, Sandslash and Garchomp. Now, unfortunately, Garchomp's useless here because, as we saw, it outsped a Clefable and Trick Room. So it's going to get outsped by the Poliwrath. So I went for a Protector on this Sandslash. Same deal here, I'm going to go for the Earthquake, knock the Poliwrath down to the red once again, and then finish it off the next turn. So Poliwrath's down into the red. Poliwrath does go for the Circle Throw. It's going to miss because I did Protect, luckily. And with that is going to be game with the Iron Head coming from the Sandslash, and that's going to be enough to take out the Poliwrath. So that was a very enjoyable game one there. As I said, I don't think that person was expecting that Clefable would get outsped by a Garchomp of all things, especially in Trick Room. So, as I said, it's a nice little surprise. It definitely does work. But as I said, unfortunately, the damage output just isn't impressive. It kind of hits like a wet paper towel most times, which is why I definitely suggest don't run Garchomp in Trick Room unless you want to be a little troll like me. Anyways, coming on to Battle 2. Now, some more shenanigans go on here, but it's not Garchomp shenanigans, unfortunately. There's some other impressive shenanigans, and I didn't actually realize it was impressive shenanigans until I was reviewing this video. So they're going to leave with Audino and Cobblane. Now, by this stage, the Audino had been released, so this is going to be Mega Audino. As for the Cobblane, it counters most of my team, but only that is level 47. What shenanigans can this Cobblane bring? Well, you're about to witness the shenanigans. So Audino is going to Mega Evolve. As said, the Mega Stone was available by this stage, so out comes Mega Audino. Now, I've personally used Mega Audino plenty of times. I know how tanky it is, and I know potential sweeper it is. I've never used it in doubles though, so this is a first for me. So it goes for the Helping Hand. I'm like, oh great. And then I see Focus Blast. I'm like, okay, that's not going to be a huge issue. Then I see the damage output. I'm like, oh, that's definitely an issue. That blasted me, and that's at level 47. If that was level 50, that'd do a lot more. So Heavy Slam takes the Audino down to the orange. I get the Trick Room up. I'm like, good. I can finally do some damage. I don't know how much damage I'm going to do before I die to like a level 47 Cobblane, but we'll find out. So the Audino goes for the Protect here. I probably should have targeted the Cobblane here, knowing that that should have been the bigger threat. I don't even know if I was paying attention to its level. I just assumed it was level 50 by this stage. So I go for the Swagger onto the Cobblane. So I'm like, okay, I've got to try and nullify it with a Confusion at least. If I can make it hit itself in Confusion at least, that'd be a major plus there. So it's confused, and no, it doesn't hit itself in Confusion, of course. Goes for the Flash Cannon, but since it didn't get the Helping Hand boost, it's not going to take me out. Thank you, Special Defensive Investment, plus the Sand there, allowing me to live that just barely by the skin of my teeth. So the Sand's going to keep wearing down the Audino, which is awesome, because now I can take it up with the Heavy Slam and then deal some damage to the Cobblane with Psychic on Hypno. So Audino bites the dust finally, thank God. Yeah, that can be a pain. It's definitely a really nice support, especially with things like Healing Wish and everything, especially with singles. Anyway, Psychic's going to do a decent damage there to Cobblane, doing quarter damage, and it does hit itself in Confusion, which is really nice. So that's awesome. So again, Hypno's going to get buffed by the Sandstorm there. As I said, that's the only downside to not running something like safety goggles on Hypno. So out comes Xurkitree. I'm like, okay, let's just go for Earthquake here. Let's take out 2/3 with one stone. Is it going to be enough though? That's the question. Unfortunately, it doesn't take out any of them. So unfortunately, due to the fact that I only ran 64 attack and Gigalith, had it made a bit of a difference there. If I'd actually run more attack into Gigalith, made it more like a sweepy set rather than just a bulky sweeper, I probably would have got the double KO there. So Energy Ball is going to take out the Gigalith there from the Xurkitree, which is very unfortunate because it means Xurkitree can get the special attack boost from Beast Boost. As long as my Trick Room sticks around, I should actually be all good and dandy here. So Sandstorm's still ripping into my Hypno here, and it rips into Xurkitree at least. At least in the back of my mind here, if I do lose Trick Room and I somehow lose both my Pokemon, I still have Sandstorm to fall back on. So the last Pokemon is going to be the Staraptor here, which is awesome. So if I can live, well, I haven't seen Trick Room go down yet, but if I can manage to take out the Staraptor, I can take out the Xurkitree with Psychic. So hopefully Icicle Crash hits, and indeed it does. So thank you so much, Icicle Crash, for being so reliant at the moment. Takes out the Staraptor in one go. Good night, Staraptor, which means Xurkitree can go down to one Psychic from the Hypno. And as I said, this Hypno isn't running... Oh, sorry, it is running a little bit of Special Attack Investment. It's running like 56 Special Attack Investment. Double check me notes. Turns out I was. My lie. I actually thought I was running like Special Defense. Alright, so that was Battle 2. But as I said, level 47 Cobblane too strong for me. Anyways, final battle here, and as you can tell by the team preview, it is more of a VGC 17 standardish team. I do believe it was quite standard when I look at the team preview off the top of my head, but just looking at that, it's like, yeah, I kind of figured what type of team this is. Anyways, they've got the Gastrodon and the Arcanine leaders. Like, oh great, Arcanine that can run multiple sets, and they're so hard to predict because of that reason. As for Gastrodon, there's mainly one set that they run, so this will be really interesting. Considering I also brought Cradilly with me on this as well. So I mainly brought Cradilly to counter the Gastrodon, if any Gastrodon something like that popped up like that. So Arcanine's going to swap out there. It was really interesting. Normally I would stick around and Flare Blitz or Snarl or one of the two. Bringing in Celestial, I think I'd go for like an Earthquake or something. I don't really know what the reasoning behind it would have been, because it would have been weak to Rock as well, and Rock would have been neutral to Celestial. So I went for the Protect there, thinking the Gastrodon would have gone for Scald or something. Went for Toxic, which was even better, so I stopped that from happening. So I'm unfortunately going to get hit by Sandstorm and nobody else is. So what do you do when there's a big Celestia on the field? You do what you do to the previous Pokemon I've thrown boulders at. You throw a big boulder at it and hope for the best. So that's all I can really do here, because I'm at a -1 thanks to Arcanine. So Continental Crush, as I said, going to be hitting about 200 base power here, but as I said, unfortunately, -1 isn't really going to be helping me out here. Celestia being really tanky as well, and yeah, that does just under half health, unfortunately. So Ice Beam coming from the Gastrodon there is going to hit my Hypno, going to do a little bit of damage there, thanks to natural special defensive bulk. Going to set up the Safeguard there just to prevent any freeze hexes from happening, and at the same time I'm going to set up the Swagger from my Hypno, so you are going to see the Safeguard Swagger strategy in play here. Do take an extra note though, this actually works better with Tapu Fini on the field and using Swagger. You don't need to set up the Safeguard at least, so one less turn to set all that up. Works much better, but if you don't want to use Tapu Fini, this is the next best way to go, and it worked before Tapu Fini became a thing. Alright, so Leech Seed is unfortunately coming from the Celesteela, which is going to slowly wear down my Gigalith. Going to go for Stone Edge again, hoping for the crit. Don't get the crit. Gets hit by the Scald instead. And because Safeguard's up, I can't get burnt, so that's awesome. So here comes the Swagger. I do hit the Swagger, which is awesome. So I do get the +2 in attack, technically +1 because of the Intimidate that happened earlier. And because I'm protected by Safeguard, I don't get the confusion from Swagger. So Heavy Slam's going to hit my Hypno, and because I'm running a whopping 200 defense investment in my Hypno on top of the 252 EVs in health, I do take that relatively well. Alright, so now I've got a nice boost in my attack, I can hopefully go for the Stone Edge and come either very close to taking out Celesteela or take it out. Hopefully the latter. So here it goes, moment of truth. Oh wait, let me swap out first. Gotta swap out the Hypno, go into my Cradilly because I know that Gastrodon's gonna go for the Scald. And if I don't take it out, I'm going to have to deal with that next turn. So Stone Edge hits, and unfortunately, I just missed out on the kill. They bring it down to the very low red. Skull goes off on the Gastrodon. Storm Drain activates on my Cradilly, raising my special attack, which is awesome. And I'm going to take a Heavy Slam from the Celesteela, which is going to take out my Gigalith. So either way, someone's going to die this turn. And unfortunately, had big Gigalith. Which means the Celesteela is going to take a Beast Boost, raising its attack by +1. Alright, so Leftovers kicks in once again, but the other good advantage here for Cradilly is it's a grass type, and I can't get hit by Leech Seed, so awesome! Alright, Sandslash comes onto the field, so I'm going to go for the Giga Drain, which actually misses Gastrodon. What? Does that have Sand Veil? Okay, that's something I was not expecting because most Gastrodons run Storm Drain, so I can't explain that unless there was a Bright Powder Gastrodon. I got no clue, but regardless, Celesteela hits bites the dust next to Icicle Crash. This is the most I've ever seen Icicle Crash hit. Normally, it always misses me. Unfortunately though, Trick Room does die as the Garchomp comes onto the field, so it's like, oh, this is not good. So, Garchomp's going to be Garchomp, go for the Earthquake here, but because it's going to be hitting multiple targets plus its ally, which we don't need to worry about Gastrodon, it can take things like Choice Band, Trap Inch, Earthquake pretty damn well. It's going to take out the Sandslash Lower Form, which was running 4 defensive EVs and 68 HP. So it had some tank to it, which was probably enough to live the Earthquake. Because of that, I was managed to take it out with the Icicle Crash. Awesome, so nice. And I'm going to take an Ice Beam from the Gastrodon, and since the Sandstorm did subside, it's going to take me a little bit harder than what it normally does. But this time I do finally manage to connect the Giga Drain, which makes me think it was something like Sand Veil or Bright Powder. I just got really unlucky. and do get most of my health back from that, which is awesome. So Gastron finally goes down after being a little pain in my rear side, and which finally leads their last Pokemon, which is Arcanine, to come onto the field. And with that, the Intimidate goes back up, lowering my Sand Slash's attack by -1. Doesn't really phase my Cradilly. And with that, that's going to be game because I got a forfeit because Cradilly too bloody strong with +1 special attack from Storm Drain and Earth Power on it as well. And with that, guys, that is going to be it for tonight's Wi-Fi Wednesday. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and hope you guys did like the Trick Room Garchomp shenanigans. Hopefully I'll bring you a few more shenanigans with Garchomp, Hypno, and hopefully the Comfy, which was also the last Pokemon I actually didn't get to show in tonight's Wi-Fi Wednesday. Again, as always, the overview with EVs and everything, all their moves and other moves you can particularly run on these certain Pokemon or items, etc., will be shown in the outro as well if you are curious to what other ways to run these Pokemon or what I was personally running. So anyways, guys, as I said, Sand Room should return next week, and I'm not too sure after that, but I do have a lot of international competition challenge battles I do need to cover. I still have February's to still finish off, and I have a bunch of videos left over from last month's competition. Top that off with the fact I've got another one at the end of the month. It's like, wow, I gotta start getting my boot up my rear side with these battles, I think. But anyways, guys, that's it. Until next time, this is Lady KrimZen saying ciao for now, but not forever. Ciao.